Greetings everyone. As usual, whenever I do a review for a PTZ camera nowadays, I like to point out what we used 10, 20 years ago when I was in the CCTV industry. I'm retired now, but I do like to point out some of these older items that we used. Most of them in government and commercial buildings. I don't think I did any residential. But, you know, we had the PTZ cameras here that, you know, you'd mount like this and you'd have the dome under them. We had that, and then we'd use box cameras, usually in a metal enclosure when outdoors. And then for my last 5 years in the industry, we were using DVRs, digital recorders. But prior to that, I was doing mostly videotape and multiplexers, and boy, a pain in the butt, I'll tell you. So I'm pointing this out to you because what we did back then, with all this equipment costing thousands of dollars, consumers can now get things like this. And there's plenty of these out there. And what I'm talking about today is the Twufy. I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing that name right. It's Twufy. See? How Twufy, I believe. In any case, this is an item I'm reviewing today, and I want to remind you that the consumers nowadays have it pretty nice. For spending usually under $150 for an item like this, you can do everything that these items did for me. Possibly not as good a quality, but you're still doing a whole lot for a whole lot less. So let me put these items down. All right, let's go on and do the unboxing and see what we come up with here. And I will be honest with you too, folks. I did open this up last night. I cheated because I wanted to have a charge overnight. And we have a couple manuals here. Twufy, Twufy. I hope I'm saying that right. Anyway, got the manual. Fairly easy to read, understand. And then, first thing out is the solar panel. It's fairly small, but it's similar to the ones I've been using, and they do seem to be pretty reliable. Okay, and that comes with its own cable. And here's the camera itself. Before we get into that, let's look what else is in the box. Here's a charging cable, so you can charge it using a wall outlet and a charger. That way you can charge it up before you use it. And the mount for the solar panel. And what do we have here? Okay, hardware. And this is something that's a little unique for this particular device. And it's kind of neat. It lets you mount it either on the wall, or you can even mount it under something. So you've got a choice of how you want to mount it. And we'll show you that later when we get into actually hanging this thing up. So that gives you an idea of what we've got here. It's well packaged, and even bouncing around delivery trucks, it should be safe. All right, let's, by the way, before we go too far, this right here is for plugging the solar. Actually, you can use it to charge using your wall charger, or more precisely, this is where you plug your solar panel into. And it's somewhat protected because you're underneath this mounting bracket here. So it should be help to keep any moisture out of there. And you know, I kind of like this. I'd be curious to find out if this thing can be operated, you know, on a shelf like that. Isn't that kind of neat? And again, I don't want to put too much pressure on this, but if the image can be flipped in the software, and I'll have to look if it can, there's really no reason why you can't put this on a shelf somewhere. You'd still need your solar panel and by a light source, though, unless you can leave it plugged into a wall outlet. I don't know if that would overcharge it or not, but for future research, that'd be something to look into, because you'd be able to pan it and tilt it wherever you have it mounted on a shelf. So let's go beyond that, because I'm not sure that's even feasible. And here's your speaker. It's got two-way audio, so you can carry on a conversation with somebody that's out by the camera. It has IR emitters, so you have night vision. And one of the nice things about this is it's got a PIR detection, passive infrared. That means at night, it's actually going to be looking for a heat source before it triggers your motion, usually body heat. It also has AI, artificial intelligence. So once it sees that body heat, it's going to look at it and try and determine if indeed it is a human person that's moving around, as opposed to, like a dog maybe. So that'll help prevent false alarms. Some other cameras use digital detection, where it's looking for movement within the pixels of the image, and that'll trip your motion alarms. The bad thing about that is at night, you're going to get a ton of false alarms using digital detection, because your mosquitoes and bugs are attracted to the IR light, and then your images are going to see motion in there because of the bugs, and it'll trigger the device. That's less likely to happen with PIR. So that's a plus there. And let's see, what else? Am I forgetting to tell you anything else on this? Maybe we should just go ahead and get it activated, and we'll move on from there. All right, let's go into the app, and as you can see, I have several cameras that use this app. It's the Cloud Edge app, and it is a very nice app. I really like it, and encourage you to take a look at it. You can download it on either Android or iOS, and once you get into this, you're going to want to let's see, I've got to move this down here so it's out of the way. You can see this plus right here, and you're going to want to push that, and then you're going to select battery camera, and it'll start walking you through activating this. Okay, you want to go to the camera. You're going to open this up here, and let's see which one's power here. I believe this is power, so we are going to, nope, I'm sorry, wrong one. There's your power. Push and hold that until it starts up. And there, it started up. Okay. And then we want to, they really want you to be close to your router when you're doing this. Unfortunately, I'm clear across the house from where the router is, and hopefully we'll be able to do this. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go over there and do it. In any case, let's give this a shot. We'll go to the next thing here.
The reset button for
and
5 seconds. Wait for the indicator light to flash red.
All right. Now they want you to do the reset button. Push and hold the reset button. There, you heard that, didn't you? That's telling you it's ready to go on to the next step. So let's hit next, and
please choose a 2.4G
I don't want you to see my passwords here, so I'm going to
please remove the protective film from your camera lens. Tap
okay, I
next
backed
to show
out of
your
there for a
QR
minute.
code. Then hold
Don't
the
want
code
anybody
in
to see my
front of the
password.
camera lens at a
So
distance
now
of 5
we're
to
to the
8
step where we
inches.
wanted to pair these items. We do that, and it's going to bring up this QR code. And all we need to do is show the camera the QR code. Did you hear that beep? That means that it saw the QR code, it knows what it's got to do, and it's ready for our next step.
Connecting.
So let's
please wait a moment.
Go to the next step. Look how quick it found it. And that's with probably a fairly weak Wi-Fi signal too, so that's pretty impressive. We'll go into the device itself. Come on.
Put camera and phone at the place of camera installation.
Now, it wants me to place this on the mount before we proceed, but we're just going to continue doing this, and we'll mount it here in a little bit. Next step. It's telling me the Wi-Fi signal's normal, which is pretty good, and it's also showing me upside down. Yeah. So in any case, we can turn it around like that. And let's move on to the next step here. Now it wants us to go out and mount it, and that means we're done installing it with the software. Let's hit done here, and we're going to choose a family. That's my family there, and hit done. And we should be able to see the item now, and we can rename it. There I am, upside down again. Hi there. Okay, before I forget, let's rename that. And device information, device name. And since it's going out by the dock, let's name it Dock. D-O-C-K. There we go. And save. So right now, okay, the camera's renamed Dock. We'll go into a couple of the items here that we're going to be able to work with. We can tell it whether or not we want to receive alert notifications. And I believe it's set a 12-hour clock. You can do 24-hour clock as well. Sound settings. We've got both microphone and recording voice activated on this. The speaker's activated. Here you can control your volume on your speaker. We'll leave it at 70 for now. Alarm management. This is where you select your sensitivity to the motion sensor, and you do alarm area, but again, we're going to wait until we actually mount it to do that. So let's go outside and mount this, and we'll go from there. As you can see, I've already got things going here. Got the camera mount up there already. I got the solar panel, and you can also see a couple of my hardwired cameras that I've got up here. One here and one on the other side. They're being used for other things, but the reason I point that out is because if the cabling that's going underground gets cut or damaged, it could be a real pain to fix. Whereas with the solar panel camera, it's a whole lot simpler. So let's see this weather boot here. That sometimes makes it a little tough to plug this in. So let's try it and see what we can do. Okay, there we go. It's in there now, and you see how it's got a weather boot around there. That's to help protect it from the moisture.
And this also helps cover it, so you're protected in multiple ways. Now we use these handy dandy screws that come with it and get going. I don't know if you can hear that construction in the background here. That's what that grinding noise is. It's right next door to me, and sometimes the noise can get annoying, but you learn to live with it. And you can see with this mount, not only can you mount it like this, but you can also mount it like under an eave if you want to. So let's turn these antennas up. I'm going to go that way and avoid blocking that one camera. And let's go inside and see how this thing works. Here we go. All right, let's go into here. As you can see, I've got several other cameras on here. Let's try and find the one we've just been... There we go. Turn that sucker on. And let's see if it goes live with us here. There it is. Hey, not a bad picture at all. As you can see, it's in standard definition right now. We'll change that to high definition a little later. But when you're screwing around with settings and that, it's probably best to keep it in standard definition. It doesn't use up as much bandwidth. Let's go into settings up here. And we've already changed the name of it to dock. So we don't have to worry about that. And we've got it set for receive notifications. That way, when it detects motion, it will notify your phone. And time settings, we're at 12 hours. Yep. And let's go into alarm management. We're set to it. Motion detection is set to on. Where our sensitivity for motion sensing is at 6. If you find out later that it's not picking up as much as you want, you can increase that. If you're picking up too much, you can decrease that. The alert plan, actually, let's go into alarm area. Except that's probably not the thing to do right now either, because we can do it from here. We'll move this camera over to where I want to have it set during most of the time. And this is pretty much, oops, too far. Let's go back down. Come on. And keep the flag out of that, because with all the movement, the PIR really should ignore it unless that flag is absorbing some heat, which I doubt. But we'll go below the flag there, and we're in the masking area now. And what we can do is we're going to tell the system where to look for motion or movement. And this is the area that we want to watch for movement. And what that's going to do is when the camera wakes up, when it sees motion through the PIR, it's going to look at the AI, the artificial intelligence, take a look, and it's going to look into these areas to see if it can detect human movement. Otherwise, it will not send an alert tone to you. And it should ignore all this other area here. So it'll help prevent false alarms. And so let's go with that right there. Hit save. And save again just to be sure. And we can back out of that now. And let's see what are we forgetting anything here? No, I don't believe so. You can, Oh, by the way, here's that screen flip I was telling you about. And so it does have that. And what that will do, it'll actually flip the video picture. And so you should be able to put that thing flat down on a table or on a shelf and then hit the screen flip so it'll compensate for being upside down. And night vision mode, that's automatic. And that will, at night, go to the infrared mode. The picture will actually be black and white with the IR lighting, but it looks pretty darn good at night on most of these cameras, and we'll check that out a little later. And during the daytime, obviously, you're going to get color. And which reminds me, let's go back to the front of this. This tells you how much bandwidth you're using. Tells you your Wi-Fi signal. It is a little low now. However, you have to remember, I believe I told you this, I'm doing a good 100 feet away from the router, and I'm going through concrete block and stucco, multiple rooms. So now we have a 75% Wi-Fi signal, and that is darn good. I'm impressed with that. And again, let's back out, because what we want to do, we want to change, come on, back live with us again. There we go. We want to change this to high definition. And that's a high definition picture. That's a good picture. I'm impressed with that. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to actually take a break. And oh, by the way, you can trip the siren outside right here if you want. And if you want to scare somebody away. I usually don't use that because I prefer to know somebody's out there without them knowing I know that they're out there. So I don't want to attract attention to the camera. I prefer to have a little bit of time to respond to any individuals out there before they know I'm on to them. And you can take screenshots of the image. You can even record an image to your phone so you can play it back at a later time. You hit the intercom button and you can have a two-way conversation with them out there. But for right now, we are going to back out of this, and we're going to shut down for a little while, and we'll be back in a little bit to look at some nighttime images. So, see you in a few hours. Okay, so it's nighttime now. That went quick, huh? Okay, what we're going to do, let's go in to the camera in question here and see what kind of night vision we're getting out of it. As she pops up, let's go this way with it. I'd say that's pretty darn good. And in case I didn't tell you about it, here's how you zoom in. You kind of pinch out. And as you pinch out, you know, the video's going to get a little degraded because all you're doing is increasing the pixel size. It's not like an optical zoom lens. But that is a pretty darn good picture if you ask me. And one thing else I want to do before we finish up here is go into the quad mode like that. There we go. And that gives me 4 of my cameras on the outside there. That's pretty neat, huh? And they're all live images. We can back out of this now. I believe I pretty much showed you everything on this, what's going on here. And I think you'll probably agree with me that for a sub $150 camera, this is giving some pretty good results.
And if you are considering purchasing it, I have a link in the description to this video that will take you to a purchase site. And yes, I would make a commission if you got it from me or got it through that link, but nothing says you have to do it through that link. I'm just offering that to you here. So I appreciate you watching my video, and keep an eye out for my next one. Thank you, everyone.